There is a moment that nobody warns you about, a quiet shift that happens somewhere around the age of 80. And it does not matter how strong you were in your 60s. It does not matter how active you were in your 70s. It does not matter how many marathons you ran or how many push-ups you could do back in the day. When you cross that threshold into your 80s, your body starts playing by a completely different set of rules. And if you are not aware of what those rules are, they will catch you off guard in ways that can genuinely change the course of your remaining years. Now, here is the thing that frustrates me the most as a doctor. Most people do not learn about these changes until they are already dealing with the consequences. They show up in my office confused, frustrated, sometimes even scared, and they say, "Doc, I was fine just a year ago. What happened to me?" And I have to sit down and explain that their body did exactly what it was always going to do. They just were not prepared for it. So today I am going to make sure that does not happen to you or to someone you love. Whether you are already in your 80s, approaching your 80s, or you have a parent or grandparent who is in that age range, what I am about to share with you could be some of the most important health information you ever hear. My name is Dr. Maxwell Martin, and on this channel we talk about real health information that actually matters, especially for those of you in your senior years. So if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, because I release content like this regularly, and I do not want you to miss a single video. Now let us get into this, because what I am about to tell you, nobody else is going to say it this directly. The first thing that happens once you turn 80, and this one catches almost everybody off guard, is that your body starts losing muscle at an accelerated rate that is unlike anything you have experienced before. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are saying, "Dr. Martin, I have been hearing about muscle loss since I was 50. This is not new information." And you are right. Muscle loss does begin in your 30s, and it gradually continues throughout your life. But here is what most people do not understand. The rate of muscle loss between the ages of 30 and 70 is relatively slow and manageable. But once you hit 80, that number jumps dramatically. We are talking about losing up to 15% of your remaining muscle mass in a single decade, and in some cases even faster than that. This condition has a medical name. It is called sarcopenia, and after 80, it becomes one of the most dangerous threats to your independence, your mobility, and honestly, your life. Let me tell you why this matters so much. Muscle is not just about looking strong or being able to lift heavy things. Your muscles are what keep you upright. They are what prevent you from falling when you stumble on a crack in the sidewalk. They are what allow you to get up from a chair without assistance, to climb a flight of stairs, to carry your own groceries, to maintain the basic functions of daily living that most people take completely for granted. When your muscle mass drops below a certain threshold, and this is the part that terrifies me as a physician, your risk of falling increases exponentially. And a fall at 80 is not the same as a fall at 40. At 80, a fall can mean a broken hip, and a broken hip at that age has a mortality rate that would shock most people. Studies show that roughly 20 to 30% of elderly adults who suffer a hip fracture die within 1 year, not from the fracture itself, but from the complications that follow. The immobility, the infections, the blood clots, the rapid decline in overall health that comes from being bedridden. So what can you do about this? And this is where I want to give you real practical advice, not just scare you. Resistance training does not stop being effective just because you are 80 years old. In fact, research has consistently shown that even people in their 80s and 90s can build muscle. I am not talking about heavy deadlifts or bench pressing twice your body weight. I am talking about simple, safe, supervised strength training, chair squats, resistance band exercises, our light dumbbell work. Even body weight movements can make a tremendous difference. The key is consistency. You need to be doing some form of resistance exercise at least 2 to 3 times per week. And you need to be consuming adequate protein. Most seniors in their 80s are not eating enough protein, and that is fueling the muscle loss even further. Aim for at least 1 gram of protein per kilogram of your body weight every single day, and spread it across your meals rather than trying to get it all in one sitting. Your muscles need that steady supply of amino acids to maintain themselves. Now, the second thing that happens after 80, and this one is deeply personal for a lot of people, is that your brain begins to process information differently. I want to be very careful with how I explain this because there is a huge difference between normal age-related cognitive changes and dementia. After 80, it is completely normal to experience what we call slower processing speed. This means it might take you a little longer to recall a name, a little longer to find the right word in conversation. This does not mean you have Alzheimer's disease. This does not mean you are losing your mind. This is your brain operating with slightly less efficiency, which is a natural part of aging. However, and this is the important part, after 80, the risk of developing actual dementia does increase significantly. By the age of 85, roughly 1 in 3 people will have some form of dementia. The brain, much like your muscles, needs to be exercised and maintained. And the research on this is incredibly encouraging. Studies have shown that remaining mentally active helps. One of the biggest mistakes I see in my patients over 80 is that they start withdrawing from social activities, and they spend more and more time alone in front of the television. Social isolation is one of the most powerful accelerators of cognitive decline that we know of. Your brain needs stimulation, it needs conversation, it needs novelty, it needs challenge. So if you are over 80 or you know someone who is, please encourage social connection. Join a book club, volunteer, take a class. It keeps your brain engaged and connected to other human beings. And let me add one more thing about brain health after 80 that most doctors will not tell you. Sleep becomes absolutely critical. Your brain uses sleep to clear out toxic proteins, including beta amyloid, which is directly associated with Alzheimer's disease. If you are not sleeping well, those proteins accumulate faster. Talk to your doctor about your sleep. The third thing that happens after 80, and this is one that a lot of people do not want to talk about, but we need to, is that your bones become significantly more fragile. Now, similar to muscle loss, bone density loss begins much earlier, but after 80, we reach a point where even minor impacts can cause fractures. This is osteoporosis at its most advanced stage. This means that a simple stumble, bumping into a piece of furniture, even a forceful sneeze in severe cases, can cause a compression fracture. And once you have one, your risk doubles. What can you do? Get a bone density scan. Second, make sure you are getting adequate calcium and vitamin D. Most adults over 80 need at least 200 milligrams of calcium per day. But beyond supplements, the single best thing you can do for your bones after 80 is weight-bearing exercise. Walking, standing exercises, gentle dancing. Every step tells your bones to stay strong. The fourth thing that happens after 80 is something that I see devastating so many of my patients, and it is the decline in balance and coordination. Your inner ear becomes less sensitive, your proprioception declines, and your vision often deteriorates. When you combine these, you get a perfect storm for falls. So what do we do about this? Balance training. Standing on one foot while holding onto a chair, heel-to-toe walking, tai chi, or yoga adapted for seniors. Balance can be improved at any age. And please, do not let pride get in the way of safety. If you need a cane, use a cane. If you need grab bars installed, get them today. These are tools that keep you independent and alive. Now, the fifth thing that happens after 80, and this might be the most important one of all, is that your immune system becomes significantly weaker. It is called immunosenescence. After 80, your body produces fewer new immune cells. This is why a simple cold or flu can land an 80-year-old in the hospital, and pneumonia becomes a leading cause of death. What can you do? Nutrition is critical. Eat a varied diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. Second, stay up to date on your vaccinations like flu and pneumonia shots. Now, I want to say something clearly. Turning 80 is not a death sentence. It is not the beginning of the end. I have patients in their 80s and 90s who are vibrant and sharp. They are not superhuman. They are consistent. Every single day, you have a choice. You can sit back and let these changes take over, or you can fight back with movement and care. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. This is Dr. Maxwell Martin reminding you, it is never too late to take control of your health. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.